Hey friends, Kathy Lanzalaco here with another exciting story, success story about the Inspire Career Student Professional Launch Program featuring Riley Smith today. Hey Riley.
Hi there.
I wanted to share your story with people that are interested in the program. It's been quite a journey, and I think it's important for people to not feel alone during the job search process and recognize that others are going through all kinds of stuff too. So, Riley's landed a fabulous job, but I'm going to let
Yep.
him tell you a little bit about that. But, Riley, let's start out talking a little bit about how we came to be together, what your experience had been. You've gone to UB, you have a chemical engineering degree, University of Buffalo, for those of you that might
Yes.
be watching this, a degree in chemical engineering and a summa cum laude graduate. So, you have a lot of potential. So why don't you take us a little bit through that post-graduation job search and some of the things that had happened to you, and then we'll get up to speed on what's been happening with us.
Yeah, perfect. So after I graduated from UB, I took some time looking for jobs. It was definitely an interesting uh, search because I wasn't exactly sure what specific role I wanted to have. Just I wanted to do something with my degree. Eventually, over time, I landed a position with Merck Pharmaceutical, which allowed me to move to New Jersey for a year as a contract. And when I moved, I actually started the job right at the hit of the COVID pandemic. And while I was able to finish my contract with them, it was a kind of a crazy, bewildering experience that I was kind of not prepared for, quite frankly. And what I eventually did is came back home to New York, where my family is, and I wanted to find a different position, a more of a different type of work than what I had done there. And it was hard. There was a lot of kind of emotions from the pandemic. There was a lot of maybe anxiety just from being unsure of what I liked from that previous job and what I should move forward. And there was a bit of hesitation of just how to move forward. And it took me a while. And through a friend of a family member, I actually heard of you and got in contact with you through that family um, association. And I kind of was like, this is exactly what I need is somebody who can help me just kind of guide me through this kind of cloudy mess of what direction should I be going to? How can I make the most of my time so that I can move forward past my own kind of experiences post pandemic?
Yeah, and I love that you said that because so many people can see themselves in that. I mean, the pandemic wasn't that far away. A lot of people had a lot of trouble with opportunities at that point, bad experiences. That's just
Yeah.
something so many people suffered. But I love that you came recommended to me. But when you first came and trying to figure out, you talk about kind of getting throughout this cloud of all these things to do. First thing we did was assessment testing, right?
Yes.
And we took the DISC assessment and some other things, and we really talked about your strengths and your skills and the type of work that you wanted to do. Can you talk to us a little bit about that process of discovery?
Yeah, and I think one thing that I know about myself going into that process was I'm somebody I can look at my own weaknesses and evaluate those pretty easily, but it's sometimes hard to really say what am I really good at? Like what are my best strengths and how can I list those? And a lot of those assessments that we took together um, made me reflect a lot on things that I was stronger at. I'm more of an analytical minded person. Um, I do have good social skills, despite being a lot, more technical and digital all the time on computers. And I wanted to kind of find a way to be able to express, spending time with other people, sharing my thoughts, being creative, while being able to also work on the tech side, the technology side, computers, digital, modern, more modern work. And it was just very maybe confirming, like a sense of confirmation to see, oh, a lot of these tests kind of uh, like they prove or not prove, but they reinforce ideas about myself that I was kind of wondering, like,
Yeah, and once we kind of establish that clarity, Riley, because the clarity piece is so huge, and that doesn't mean backing yourself into a corner, but it means being able to have a path forward. We did a lot of different job search activities, from networking to applying online to setting goals for how many people you were going to talk to, how to get your materials together. We did a fabulous resume for you. Out of all of those things, what during the job search process in particular did you find most rewarding?
Is the thing that was most valuable to me that I enjoyed the most was the kind of push towards the networking side of actually not just getting the resume, of course, setting up a great resume is awesome. I love that. But what's most important to me was getting just more contacts, trying to be more, able to reach out to people, being comfortable doing that. Um, having interviews with employers or recruiters, kind of spreading myself out so that other people can see me on LinkedIn. A lot of things that I wasn't necessarily super comfortable with at first that I was like, oh, this is, I don't often do this a lot. What am I gonna say? And it's always still a process, but I think having you in the program kind of pushing me to just do better and better, every day is make little inches of progress, and meeting more and more people, meeting, small connections from other connections, and uh, just persevering through that process has been probably the best part because one thing that you teach a lot in the program is how it's almost job searching is such a social process of meeting the right people who can offer you the best jobs. You can't just necessarily apply online for everything and hope something lands there.
Yes.
It's almost always better to meet people directly and talk about positions from that.
And isn't that exactly how you got your fabulous job? We're going to talk about in a minute. Is I introduced you to a recruiter and through their company and through some back and forth, and it didn't happen overnight, right? But you followed the process because so much of job search really is a process, and it's about the tenacity of it and just keep waiting and and taking action and seeing how things shake out. But you got your job actually through a recruiting firm, which is really exciting. Tell us about your job, Riley.
Yeah, so my job is I'm going to be contracted as a how do I put it, a automation software evaluator tester for a company called Emo Life. They work on pharmaceutical products, specifically robotics and automation software that creates a lot of the uh, how do I put it, devices like such as creating mass, models or massive amounts of syringes, filling bottles, freeze drying biological samples. A lot of the most core processes of the pharma industry, they make devices and machines and sell the technology in order to make processes on larger scales go by a lot quicker, a lot more efficient. And I'm somebody who really appreciates efficiency and kind of looking at hybrids between mechanical work, digital, analytics, um, but also using a biotech background, which is what I have from my own experiences with my degree. So it just hits so many interesting nails on the head. It's definitely like something I haven't seen a lot as I've been searching for my job. Um, so when I heard about this opportunity, I was just kind of taken aback and really glad that they had a great interview with me. And I'll tell you, once you start the process, it takes a while sometimes to find the right job, but when they know when you end up actually getting a call back and they want you, the process just suddenly goes super, super fast. So even if it feels like you're not getting any progress or you're feeling it down as you're searching for jobs, it can kind of just happen all of an instant, and that's kind of what happened with me.
Awesome. Glad to hear that. Riley, when we started working together too, we had our coaching sessions every week, but I also introduced the newest feature throughout the program, which was the mastermind groups. And that allowed
Yes.
you the ability to interact with the other young people in this program. How did you find that?
Yeah, I think that was really helpful. I think especially the fact that the mastermind group specifically focused on people around my age that were in the same exact position of they're in some transitory phase. They kind of know what job they want to find, but they're just struggling getting the outreach and kind of knowing what direction to go to find the right people. I think having that reinforcement and kind of that sharing that experience with them kind of made it a bit better for me because it didn't feel as lonely, of looking for jobs, and you have people to actually ask questions to, get some feedback about, oh well, how do you how did you find this position? How did you reach out to these people? What do you think about this or that? It was very nice to just have more faces uh, that could understand the path that you're going through. Of course, having the one-on-one with me and you has been great, but I think it's definitely enhanced by the fact that there's more people that you meet that understand what you're going through, and can just add extra support and encouragement and celebrate when good things happen. So
Well,
that's been like the, yeah.
what I thought was awesome though, Riley, is how you guys supported each other.
Yes, I definitely see that. Um, Especially when would hear somebody finally, gets a new interview or they're landing something, or like they hear back from a recruiter. Like in my case, everybody in our chats and digitally is just so excited, and we just want to encourage one another to all get the jobs that we want to do.
Hey, Riley, so out of all the things we did, was there one particular thing that you enjoyed the most or you thought was the most helpful?
I actually think that one thing I enjoyed more than I expected, was the one of the morning groups that you set me up with. So other than the mastermind group that I had, you also introduced me to a group of people that have all kind of shared their job search experience and kind of taken new members from people and we would meet every Thursday morning and just talk about very casually, like, where we are in our job search process, kind of how we're feeling about what's going on, any big updates going on. And what's great is people in that call, in the Zoom meetings would always be welcome to, as soon as you mention a company that you're looking at, they might know a contact and they might recommend you to somebody they know, or they might say, "Oh, I have an idea about what you could do, for this," or if you know this company, here's an idea of how you can reach them, or here's a different company I know that sounds similar. So it was really nice to have another support system there where you kind of just get refreshing ideas every week, and it's also a really good, reason to get up, in the morning. You just have a cup of coffee and sit down and just kind of evaluate what you're doing for the week, in the presence of other people.
And in the end, as I tell people all the time, it's not necessarily one thing that we do, it's the culmination of keep stacking. That's the way I always say it. Stack, stack, stack the processes and the strategies. And you ended up getting a job that is very well aligned with your skills and qualifications. And that it's really just a great situation. And you had a list of things that you checked off, and it meets a lot of those qualifications that you're really
Yeah.
excited about it.
We had just talked about making a list of like things that I would consider my dream job. I went back to that one of the oldest documents I made with you, and then this offer from the contracting company came in at EMA Life, and I looked at my list and I'm like, this is really close. Like, what are is this just really lucky? Like, what's going on here? So I don't know. What I think you say is one thing you say is the more say and try to do something and write it down, you manifest it, you can kind of make it happen. Sometimes things just work out like that. I know that's one of your favorite kind of mantras to go
It
by.
is. Yeah. I
Yeah.
love that you said
So
that. Yeah.
yeah. So I think having that's a little big thing for me is having the confidence to not get discouraged anytime during the process and just constantly, you know, reminding myself what I'm doing and why it's all going to be beneficial towards me in the end, and just not to give up too early. That's kind of been the main things that have helped me in this program to stick to my own decision making, set on a single path and just push on towards it and see where it leads me. And it actually worked out pretty well for me in this case. I'm excited to see where it takes me moving forward.
I'm excited for you, Riley. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. So the message we wanted to share here is that your job is out there, and it is a process. It is a journey. It oftentimes takes a little longer than you think. But the concept of what we do here in the Inspire Career Student Professional Launch Program is to teach every individual all the end-to-end skills that you need for job search, because this won't be your only job, Riley. You're going to need to go
Correct.
to that next job and the next job and the next job. And now you can be completely independent in your search. And now you have confidence in your own abilities. And now you can always go back to what you learned.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Congratulations, Riley. Very, very happy for you.
All right.
All right. So listen, if you were watching this and you have questions about our program, please give me a call and we'll see if the program is right for you. Thanks, Riley. So excited for you and your success. And until we all speak again, live inspired.